Hello, we are the Boyles, and welcome back to our Little Oregon Homestead.
Okay, this is going to be our first garden tour video, so we're super excited about it. It is mid-May right now, so things are just getting going, and we're super excited to show you what we have going on so far. So we started gardening a couple years ago, about 2 years ago. Maybe
So
3?
we had a different house that had 3 garden beds in it, and it was a fail.
We didn't do anything good with that space.
We did garden. We planted some stuff that first year, or that year, and you know, for whatever reason, it just wasn't a priority at the time. I think we were at a different place in our lives as well, you know, like mentally and stuff as well.
And
so,
kids, we had, the kids were a lot younger and they had a lot more stuff going on, so we didn't have enough time to put any significant effort into it. I think we grew green beans one year and
tomatoes.
I don't think we ever did tomatoes. I don't think we ever got any tomatoes.
Yeah. But
so
the point is though, is that regardless of whether you think you're a gardener or not, or you think you're whatever, you can always change who you perceive yourself to be. So
anyone can garden if they want to.
You just have to decide to and figure out how to, and you know, learn from other people and make mistakes as well. So
yes, so when we moved into this house, I knew I did want to add some garden beds. So when we were starting off the backyard, we did leave some space to be able to put some garden beds. It was originally just going to be probably like a 8 by 10 area, and that was going to be it, and then it grew from there. So the first year we had garden beds, I learned a lot. It was a huge learning curve. I did way too many zucchini plants and I did way too many tomato plants, the same variety, all too close together.
Which, to note, if you water them, anybody can grow zucchini. Like, you feel like an absolute winner.
Okay, so the second year I made the same mistake with zucchini, but only because I felt super successful being able to grow zucchinis. Like I felt like I was doing something good and right because things just kept happening. So still too many zucchinis the second year, but I'm slowly learning and growing.
So this year we only did 2 zucchini plants.
We're only doing 2 zucchini plants, but the plus side is the chickens loved zucchini. So the overabundance that we had last year went to the chickens, and that was super awesome. So basically I learned not to do too many zucchinis, not to plant tomatoes too close together, and then the biggest thing was to differentiate like the different seasons, because I have planted everything probably like late May, June, and when I say everything, like every crop I was growing that year I planted the same time. So like my cold weather stuff like spinach and kale lasted about a day or so, and then they were done, and I just stuck to like one season. So the following year I think I really did a lot of research into differentiating between the different seasons and growing what's best for that particular weather and time. So I've really been doing a lot better with that. This year we have some stuff that we put in earlier in the year when it was cooler, and then I have an idea of what I want to do in the fall after some of my summer stuff is gone. So it's all such a learning process, a growing process, and it's been fun. And I think I'm on the right track to feel comfortable enough to now focus on expanding what we're doing. So we're gonna take you on our little garden tour. A couple of the plants we have, and when I say expand, this is kind of what I mean, because a few of the plants we have, I have like 3 broccoli growing right now, and I think I planted like just a short row of radishes, so it's really just like one meal and when we're done. So when we're thinking expanding, we're thinking being able to do a lot more than just one harvest and you're kind of done. All right, well, let's get to it. All right, so this is where I have zucchini. I have 2 zucchini plants here. This is my first time doing zucchini on this side with the fence blocking the sun for a part of the morning. So I'm going to see how that goes, and we might have to change it up next year, but that's where they're at right now. Then we have grapes. This is the only grapevine we have started, but eventually we'll add 2 more to put on each end of this garden bed, and those are doing super well. We'll have to kind of reevaluate too as far as the sun goes, because this is the first year we have them over here also. Then over here I started some summer squash and some what else was it? Butternut squash. So that's 1 of each. First time doing those, so we'll see how they go. All right, moving over here. There's our chicken coop. Moving over here, we have just 1 tomato plant that I think is an accidental.
Potato.
Yeah, potato plant. That's an accidental leftover from last year. I didn't mean to leave it or plant it there. Then we have a few carrots that I tried out over here. More potato plants. Then here's my short row of radishes. Those are ready to go. I just wanted to make sure to show them before I pull them, but they're about 1 inch in diameter, so they're definitely ready to pull. I started a second row just to try them out, because I found that they're super easy to grow, so they might be my new zucchini problem, but we'll see. And then we have our strawberry section over here. I think what I'll end up wanting to do next year is make this whole bed just strawberries, because we love our strawberries. Next bed over, we have the 3 broccoli plants. We have a couple more that are starting to come in. They're super small, so I don't know if they'll make it with the warm weather we have going on right now, but they're doing okay. We have some green onions going on here, some carrots, and then some regular onions. I planted a lot more than that, but they didn't do too well, so we will try again in the fall and see if that works out better. And then I also planted some more radishes in between the different crops, and we'll see how those turn out.
So I learned something the other day. This is our composting bin, and we haven't really done a lot with composting, but we had a bunch of chicken poop from our chickens, so I put it in here. However, with chicken poop, you're supposed to let it rest essentially because it's so hot. So we can't actually use this for like a year before we can actually put it into and start gardening with it. If we do, it'll kill everything. So good to note.
All right, so this one is empty right now, but I'm gonna end up putting some summer stuff in here that we have started. I haven't decided exactly what, so I'm not gonna say, but we'll update you on that. Over here, I started some herbs. I haven't done herbs before, so it's really just kind of see how it goes type of thing. I don't even know. I don't know what I'm doing with herbs, so we'll see. And then we have some radishes, and I have on the ends, I have some cucumbers started. First time doing cucumbers. Again, we'll see how it goes. We'll change whatever we need to change, but I'm super excited to at least try them and see what we can get out of them this year. Then we have our raspberries that desperately need a bed of their own. We're going to convince them that it's going to be a next project. So we do have some that are coming in. You can see them starting to form, and I'm super excited because I love raspberries, and we go through so much that we just need a whole row just for raspberries. All right, moving on, we have my favorite, our greens. We have spinach that I desperately need to cut because they're growing way too big. We have some lettuce that is absolutely amazing, and I love it fresh because it's still super crispy and doesn't have like that wilty feeling that you get from lettuce in the grocery store. And we have kale. I love kale for smoothies and some tuna salad. I don't like to eat it by itself, but mixed in other stuff, it's really, really good and a super good source of your greens. I also have these that I started. These are just those frosting containers that we had in our pantry for probably 2 years. I pulled off the labels, I put a hole in the bottom, and the lids are already plastic. They're already see-through, so I thought it'd be a perfect thing to try and recycle and put some starters in here. So I have some pumpkin started in this one. In these 3 I have pumpkin, and the last one I have some watermelon started. I know they're super small, and I ended up putting 2 seeds in each one, so I know we'll have to end up moving them out into a bigger container, but that's where they're at right now, and they're growing, so I'm gonna see how long they can last in there, and then we'll move them out. Olivia is the best garden helper in the whole world. She loves being out here with me, and she does a whole lot more than the 3 boys put together. So we're pretty lucky to have Olivia, right, babe?
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
I'm loving the garden.
So I didn't have a specific plan for early spring for this bed, so I went ahead, because we go through so much lettuce and so much kale, I went ahead and just planted some more in here. We're gonna let them grow, and then towards the end of spring we'll pull them out and do something different for summer. All right, you ready to move on to the other side?
Well, see, this sort of concludes what we currently have, right? So our plan moving forward is we're going to put 2 more longer beds here and here, and then expanding out this way. We have another probably 15 feet that we're planning on extending our grow area. We're going to put in a farm style fence with chicken wire or something to the sort. It was squared off, going all the way to the end of the house. And then, so this whole area is going to be garden beds. Planning on putting our greenhouse here. Moving forward, I'm trying to convince Anna Boyle to do 2 hoop houses here. She wants to do only 1 right here. However, so in Oregon, most of the year it's rainy and cloudy, and not necessarily in peak growing time. So it makes more sense that you can extend your growing season by having 2 hoop houses that are going to be the exact same size, essentially the width of where our current beds are right now, over here. So we will have 2 hoop houses, the same width, and then coming out about 28 feet from here to the fence. So that's the eventual goal, if I can convince my wonderful wifey to do so. Last spring, I put in 5 trees. We have 2 plum, a cherry.
No, that's almond, but I think
sorry,
it's
almond,
dead.
Cherry.
Cherry, I
and then
think, is
walnut.
dead too. Walnut's looking good.
Yeah.
Plums and walnut are looking good. Cherry and almond, I'm not sure about. We may have to try again.
Yeah, well, I don't necessarily want to take them out because sometimes trees take a while, especially in the soil. We have super hard clay soil. If you go down farther than even like a foot, it's pretty dense. So we'll wait and see a couple years to see if the roots are able to push past that. We also have a very shallow water table in our area. You can't really see it, but there's a water collection point out there which stays at about 6 to 18 inches of water all year round. So I'm hoping that there is water 10 feet below us right now, and so anything that's able to get deep enough will be able to get fed through that naturally. So that's the plan.
All right, so last year on this side I had a flower bed, which was super beautiful. I love flowers. It looked so nice. This year we're gonna do green beans over here, and I'm gonna try and do enough pinto beans to dry them out and give that a shot this year. That'll be new. We haven't done beans to the point where we can use the hard beans versus just eating cut green beans, but we'll see how that goes this year. Over here, we're also planning to do some blueberry bushes. We want to do 2 in between those 2 trees and 2 in between these ones. We have 3 right now, so we're going to get 1 more. But you can already see those are starting to go. We might end up doing 2 over there also. We go through so many blueberries. Raspberries, strawberries, and blueberries are a staple for yogurts, and they're just so good. We eat them just about every single day, so the more we have, the better. And plus, you can always freeze them and use them for other stuff. And then there's always jams and jellies, and we're total fans of that too. So many options with berries. We want to make sure to get in as many as possible.
So this is the new addition for this year that we're putting in. This will eventually be a flower garden. It's approximately not quite 7 feet wide by 50 feet long.
And this was really a project for me and Olivia. It has been such a huge labor of love because we've had this filled with weeds and we've dug it all out by hand, and it's just been a lot of work. Olivia and Eric have been the only ones to help me on it, but we've gone out through a lot. So by the end of this week, I want to have finished all the weeding, put weed barrier down, and get the stones put in for the borders so we can add some dirt to get some flowers going, because we're right at the beginning of flower growing season and we need to get those started ASAP. But I'll do a whole video on that whole process, beginning to end, once we have that done.
So that concludes the backyard tour of our little Oregon homestead. We look forward to what is from the future.
That was our spring garden, early spring garden. We'll do an update probably closer to the end of spring, before summer starts. And thanks for coming along with us. We'll catch you on the next one.